My name is Arlie Hammons. Welcome to my studio visit. I'll be answering a series of questions. One of the first questions I get asked is, how did you start to create art? My bio explains this. Let me read it. While working to create another high-tech startup, I was permanently disabled with a traumatic brain injury. As I sought unconventional approaches to therapy and having a life, I discovered abstract art. I'm drawn to it since there are no wrongs and exploration of different techniques and methods are core. Given my memory issues, I must experiment to produce a work. Let's look at some of the work I've created. My first art were abstracts painted in an abstract class. Many of these were in the monthly show at the Art League, a visual arts organization located in Alexandria, Virginia. Several won honorable mention or first place, some with a cash prize. It was always an honor to be included in the show. Most of these works were sold from the show or the big gallery at the Art League. The works were acrylic medium on paper. The art was more about the approach than a theme or a subject. One teacher told me if I wanted to learn, paint a series. I still remember this, and each series I've created is an exploration of subject and medium. I was reading a magazine when I saw a flower display, so I decided to paint a series of flowers. The first one was of my memory of my grandmother's sunflowers. The piece is titled Grandma's Garden. As with most of my series, these evolved as I painted more. One piece was purchased by the DC government's public art collection. The title of the work is Blue Flowers. My next series were faces. Several of my friends and I rented out Rob Vanderzee's studio in Old Town Alexandria. I decided to paint a series of faces that I'd seen in magazines that had been left to Rob called Blue Boy from the 70s. These were a challenge as the works are painted on board in acrylic and car paint. I tried to use car paint colors from the 70s, like School Bus Yellow, Go Mango, and Hemi Red. The backgrounds were what I imagine abstract 70s art to be. As one critic commented, the pieces looked monumental. I love abstract art. I'd seen a website where the viewer could interact with the website to create a piece of art. I decided to write a computer program that generated images that I had combined to create a new series. During this time, I had been to Art Basel in Miami and seen the work of Julie Moretu. I loved the look of the pieces. It was almost as if they had been painted in wax. After speaking with Golden Paints, they sent me a new medium they were working on. I incorporated this medium into the new series. These paintings are several layers of paint and a waxy medium on hand-stretched canvas over custom-made stretcher bars. An instructor from the Corcoran explained to me the importance of the material you use. These were included in the Corcoran Community Art Fair at the Corcoran Museum in Washington, D.C. My art instructor had worked with me on my computer art and sent me to an artist talk at the Corcoran with Wade Guyton on whether his most recent work, which is a digital image printed on canvas, was art. After a discussion, I decided to make a series of digital art. It was a series of images that had been generated by a new computer program that I had written and at times modified. The resulting images were hand traced to create a vector image that can be drastically enlarged and either digitally printed onto mylar using UV cured ink or painted onto canvas using synthetic polymer. One of the digital prints won first prize at a show at the Art League and earned the following comment by the juror Robert Nicholson, Virginia Museum of Fine Arts. Powerful abstract composition, creating something like deconstructed pop. This was later included in the McLean Community Art Show Art Fest and a show at the National Airport in Washington, D.C. I took time out from entering shows and took private classes with friends and painted large paintings for my house while helping a group working on a national website for brain injury survivors. This brings us to my latest series. I started these after taking several classes where we explored using UPO, a synthetic paper. I decided to make a series of landscapes using oil on UPO. People often ask about my color and my style. When it comes to color, it's from my subconscious as I work on a piece. I know many labor over a palette while trying to reproduce works from photographs. That's just not my style. As I work on these, they will become more and more abstract as I draw and paint what I think of a landscape. The final question I get, what is the one thing you want me to know about you and your art? That would be that I'm very grateful to still make art, unlike some of my other brain injury friends. I know my approach is not what you normally expect, but I'm a disabled person with a brain injury. I only wish it were easier for others like me when interacting with art groups. I'm still working on starting an art class for my other brain injury friends in a friendly environment. Art is what saves me day after day. If you'd like more information or to purchase a piece of art, you can contact me on my website, arliehammons.art.